Hello YouTube and Patreon, this is Nathan P. Butler, and this is our project update for the month of October 2019, the month I turned 40. Woosah, as they say. And I swear, does this not make me look like I'm hiding a pregnancy or something? I guess if you don't stand up and see the bottom of the stupid thing, it kind of makes me look like that. So seeing myself on the screen is a little bit weird right now. In any event, welcome. Thank you for your interest in the YouTube channel, of course, and Patreon if you're over there. The Patreon, of course, is patreon.com/Nathan P. Butler. The YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chrono Radio. You'll see the actual titles and the text of that later when we start talking about the individual items released through either. But to start out, I want to take a moment to thank those who are backers over on Patreon. Or patrons on Patreon, but that just doesn't roll off the tongue as much. I guess I'm doing too much kickstarting at this point, so I'm constantly saying backers instead of patrons. I became a super backer the other day. Little tiny stuff, but a super backer nonetheless. In any event, of course, over on Patreon, we have those three different tiers. We have the Travelers through the Butler Universe. Those are the folks who have that $1 tier. They get a thanks in the credits of these videos, and I mention them while they're still, a manageable amount, which seems like that'll be the case for the foreseeable future. And, of course, they will also get a thanks in the second edition of A Saga on Home Video whenever that does come out within the next few years. I am still, of course, working on that slowly but surely. The Travelers through the Butler Universe at this point are Ben P. Stein, Martin Dahl, Austin Pierce, and S.W. Chris. We then have the Denizens of the Butler Universe, the folks who do that $5 tier. That's the folks who get all the stuff the first tier gets, but also get access to those audio commentaries. 2 per month so far for the Clone Wars and a little bit of Forces of Destiny as little add-ins every once in a while. But Clone Wars is where we are at the moment. We're just about to hit the point where we're jumping from the early Clone Wars stuff to the later stuff, that time jump in the middle of Season 3, which will be nice because the episodes take a nice upturn in quality and we get more arc-style storytelling. In any event, and I said that again, didn't I say in any event last time I was about ready to go into the list of the other tier? That's what happens when it's the middle of the frickin' night when I finally get a chance to record again. Old man brain's starting to go. The Denizens of the Butler Universe at this point are Jason Hunt, Bobby Craig, Robert Medina, Chris Morgan, Sam Howard, Stephen M., Joey Zitzman, Jeff Ellis, Chris Lewis, Jeremiah Mustard, Nathan W. Mortimer, Gary Sherwood, Kyle Pellegrini, and Walker Langstrat. So, welcome, Walker. And then, lastly, we have the Nobility of the Butler Universe. These are the folks that get everything that the other two tiers get, but they also get access to that exclusive Q&A video every month where they get to ask questions and have them answered there in video form, which is so far a pretty manageable format, which is nice. So, in that particular group, we have 5 right now. We have Brian Snook, we have Ennis, we have Jonathan Comfer, we have Benjamin Handelman, and we have Andrew Bettis. So, nice mixture here of different tiers and whatnot over on Patreon, and I appreciate the support from all of you. There's not a whole lot to talk about as far as new releases this time. This has been a very, very busy month, work-wise, health-wise, within the family and whatnot. Just a lot of stuff going on, taking up a lot of time, and it hasn't been exactly a month. It's been close. It's October 25th as I record this. Our last update was uploaded on September 27th, so we're right around a month, but not quite there yet. So over on Patreon, again, patreon.com/Nathan P. Butler, if you happen to want to drop by there, we had 3 new releases. For the Denizens of the Butler Universe and the Nobility of the Butler Universe, we had 2 new audio commentaries, as you'd expect in any given month. This time for the Clone Wars episodes Sphere of Influence, that weird one where it's the characters that were based on Lucas and his family, but not portrayed by them, at least in animation, but to a degree in live action, but not all of them, etc., all that kind of stuff. Kind of a weird episode. That was the Greedo, yes, we said Greedo BS episode, so bit of ranting about that. And of course, we also had the next episode chronologically, which is Evil Plans. Now that means that in November, we have Hunt for Zero and Hostage Crisis, which means we're not only wrapping up the last of the episodes still hanging on from Season 1, but that's where we then jump into the future, so to speak, with the Clone Wars, where the character designs change and the storytelling becomes a little bit more mature and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to that as where we pick up again in December. I've recorded all the way up through Hostage Crisis. I have not started recording with Heroes on Both Sides and Pursuit of Peace and all that kind of stuff for the post-time jump stuff, but I plan to start doing that very, very soon. We also, in between those, back on October 6th, had the Butlerverse exclusive Q&A number 22. So 22 exclusive Q&A videos so far. Don't you want to get in on that? I guess I should also say 51 Clone Wars commentaries, not counting the 2 other ones for Forces of Destiny. Don't you want to get in on that? Anyway. I may have actually said that wrong a second ago, I'm not sure. But it's Hostage Crisis and then Hunt for Zero, because Evil Plans and Hunt for Zero were aired back-to-back, but split with Hostage Crisis actually chronologically in between. So yeah, that order. But either way, December 1st is going to start our post-time jump stuff, which will be nice. Now, as far as Star Wars Beyond the Films, which I host with Mark Herleman over at StarWarsReport.com, or Cloud City Casino, which I host with Michael Morris, also over at StarWarsReport.com, no new episodes. We just have not had the chance to get together to do any recording, but I will say that probably we'll be recording for Cloud City Casino, I hope, soon, because of course we're going to have Jedi Fallen Order getting released that we'll want to talk about now that we'd actually have a chance to play it. And I finally got the Arcade 1-Up Star Wars arcade cabinet that finally arrived and got assembled, which is now in our bedroom. My guess is at some point soon, when I get the opportunity, if I ever get the opportunity where it's me and nobody else in the house, or at least me able to slip away to record, I'll probably do a quick recording to show you guys the arcade cabinet, what it looks like, how it plays, kind of over-the-shoulder shot, that sort of thing. So that should be pretty cool soon, but we just haven't had a chance to record on that kind of stuff yet for Cloud City Casino. And then with Star Wars Beyond the Films, we still need to record about Alphabet Squadron, what I can remember of it now. We've now both read some of the books that are tied into Galaxy's Edge, and comics tied into Galaxy's Edge, but we actually just got sent, or I just got sent, the audio and physical copy, finished copy with no dust jacket for security reasons, of Resistance Reborn. So that's a huge deal leading into The Rise of Skywalker. Reviews are embargoed until a few days from now still. But we plan on talking about that as soon as we can once he gets a chance to read it, because it doesn't look like he's having a review copy sent. There was an issue there. But we'll definitely want to be talking about that as well. And we're actually coming up on the point where, shoot, we're going to start recording our year in review episodes. Even though we barely had any episodes during the year, we'll have a year in review looking back at the year in Star Wars coming up soon. Although, of course, we may not record that quite as early as we were able to last year, because this year we, of course, have The Rise of Skywalker in December, and last year the last Star Wars film, Solo, had been in May, which gave us a little bit more leeway at the end of the year. So those are coming, but not recorded yet. We just haven't had a chance to get together recently. Again, it's been a very, very busy month on both ends. As far as the YouTube channel, that's where you'll see some new stuff, and there's actually some stuff coming very soon that'll probably be released right after this episode is uploaded, of this project update. So expect some episodes coming soon from the Star Wars Home Video Library on stuff like the t-shirts in home video style packaging that are exclusive to Walmart. What happens if you ordered, because you can't anymore, ordered the Freemaker Adventures Complete Season 1 Blu-ray from Disney Movie Rewards? What type of product did you actually get? A UK action figure promo that was released in 1997 alongside the VHS release of the special editions, that kind of stuff. So I actually had a chance to sit down and record several episodes all in one giant burst. Now I just have to have the time to edit them. I've got just a little bit edited and out, and now I'm editing, still need to proof view, so to speak, and then upload. But several will come within a day or so, probably maybe even the same day as this project update. But of the stuff that's actually out, now, I know that the last update was back on September 27th. I can't recall off the top of my head if I actually recorded it on the 27th or the 26th. So I want to very quickly address the stuff that came out on the 26th, the day before the last update, just in case it wasn't mentioned, and what was released on the same day as the last update, and then we'll go on from there. So back on September 26th, we had the release of From the Star Wars Home Video Library number 233. That was the Thai, that is in Thailand, the Thai copy of The Force Awakens with the t-shirt in it. That's that thing right there. We had episode number 224, which was looking at the UK 2004 original trilogy DVD sets and how basically in that part of the world, essentially gold was a special version of the film from HMV as an exclusive, whereas the silver was just the regular version. But there was no full screen version. They were both widescreen, just with different outer coverings. Spoiler alert in case you haven't watched that episode from the Star Wars Home Video Library yet. We also then, in episode number 225, took a look at the French Clone Wars Complete Seasons 1 through 5 set that included the Funko Pop Yoda on DVD instead of on Blu-ray. So this thing, as you hear my foot kicking into baby toys and crap down there. Then on September 27th, the day the last project update was released, we took a look at gadgets and gear for the Star Wars RPG. We took a look at a big wave of X-Wing products for 2nd edition. So we looked at the Ghost expansion pack. We looked at the Punishing One expansion pack. We looked at the M3A Interceptor expansion pack, the Inquisitor's TIE expansion pack, the Nantex class Starfighter expansion pack, and the new Y-Wing, or the old Y-Wing, the Clone Wars era Y-Wing, the BTLB Y-Wing expansion pack. Again, all on the 27th, the same day that the project update was released, which was also the day that I released from the Star Wars Home Video Library number 226, looking at the Rogue One Blu-rays from South Korea. We continued our look at South Korean stuff in episode 227 on September 30th, which was the South Korean Last Jedi Blu-rays. I say Blu-ray, I mean like Blu-ray and Blu-ray 3D and even 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray in any of these cases that apply. The key is that the DVDs were handled in a different episode than everything else. Then also on September 30th, the solo episode of that South Korean coverage came out, number 228. Then we had a bit of a respite from Star Wars Home Video Library stuff when we checked out Wave 2 of the Call to Adventure game from the Kickstarter launch. We looked at the Name of the Wind expansion and the Kickstarter exclusives and stuff that go with that, as is generally the case. Speaking of Kickstarted games, we also then took a look on October 6th. Finally, took me forever to finally get this recorded. We took a look at the Gloom of Kilforth second printing. Some call it second edition. It's basically a second printing. The second printing of Gloom of Kilforth, the board game from All or Nothing Productions, along with its expansions, which were Encounters, Pimp My Gloom, and Dark Gloom. All the changes in terms of game-changing cards, as opposed to just like flavor text changes and stuff like that. And took a look at all the different stretch goals and everything from the second Kickstarter campaign. So that was quite a bit able to be put out there. And then, of course, we had sort of an emergency episode from the Star Wars Home Video Library hitting on October 20th, when Walmart decided to pull something interesting out of their ass. When Walmart, the place that was the one place for a couple days that had the September 22nd, 2019 stealth releases of the Star Wars live-action films, the Blu-ray digital combo pack and DVD version that were all released back on September 22nd, those 20 releases. They were the one place that had them up on their website leading into the release day that didn't remove them. And yet when the release day came, they didn't have any of them. Apparently they were holding out because a few weeks later, in the time between the episode dealing with the September 22nd releases and when I was planning on actually putting out any more episodes, voila! We get some exclusives from Walmart. We get exclusive versions of A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi that are the Blu-ray digital releases from September 22nd, but they have lithographs of concept art in them. And it seems to be just those three. So, needing to get the word out about those, because most Walmarts aren't actually carrying them in their stores, which is asinine, at least at the time. And last I saw, still not carrying them hardly at all. And given the fact that you can't order them from the Walmart website because the ones you get are the regular ones, not the exclusive ones, which again, is asinine. I did kind of an emergency recording session and managed to put out an episode about those, episode 229 from the Star Wars Home Video Library on October 20th. Now, that being said, that was also the day, because I had a chance to sit down and belt that out, that I knocked out several more episodes, and those are the ones I'm still in the process of getting edited or approved to upload right now, several of which will soon follow this episode. So, not a super productive month in terms of podcasting, kind of a productive month when it comes to YouTube, but not as much as some months have been. Beyond that, on the book front, let's see, A Saga on Home Video 2nd Edition continues apace. I haven't had a chance to really work on it that much recently, just within the last month or so. Still have quite a few pictures that I've taken that I need to then, crop, change the size on, and insert into the document by removing the old images, keeping track of file size and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be coming. Things seem to be going well for Greater Good and Echoes. The feedback I've gotten on it seems to be that people are liking it, so that's great. Again, you can find that on Amazon. It's my Greater Good time travel and telepaths novel, and then Echoes, my murder mystery with a sci-fi type twist type story that are both in the same volume. We also had recent news, and I actually can't recall off the top of my head if this news had been announced by the time of the last project update. I don't think it had. You may recall that, gosh, it's been probably a decade or so now, I got brought in by a company called Grail Books years ago for an opportunity to write for the Wars franchise. That's a card game franchise, an RPG franchise from Decipher Inc. Basically, the original Star Wars customizable card game was from Decipher. When they lost the license to Wizards of the Coast, that same mechanics and whatnot were refined and tweaked to make Wars. Wars the Mumon Rift, they called it. That was then spun off by Mongoose Publishing into an RPG line. Those stories, those characters, those backstories and everything got fleshed out in a novella series, 9 total, 6 of which got released, though thankfully you don't need to read all 9, 2 of which were mine. The first one and the fourth one. So I got to kind of be the Timothy Zahn in the sense, or I guess now the Chuck Wendig. Not Chuck Wendig, because that was post. It was actually John Jackson Miller. So I'll take that. I'll take that. I get to be the Timothy Zahn or the John Jackson Miller. In the sense of writing the first new prose to sort of relaunch a franchise, or relaunch a new continuity of a franchise, in essence, with those novellas. The first one was Healers and Hunters. And then the second one that I wrote, which is the 4th total, was On Red Soil. Basically, there are 3 factions, 3 human factions. The Earthers, Gonjin, which is Mars, essentially, and the Mavericks, which are like the pirate scoundrels out there. Many of that being written by my friend Jim Perry. Indiana Jim, you may know him. It was done so that basically there would be 3 books for each faction. But if you read them all, you got a bigger sense from all kinds of different perspectives of the lead up to this major event within that continuity called the Battle of Phobos. So that series kind of dwindled. My 2 got out. The first one got an illustrated novella version, an ebook version, and was included in 2 different printings with 2 different covers of Volume 1 that included the first volume of all 3 factions. My second one came out, ebook form, and in a collected version with the other Volume 2s from the other 2 factions. The first one called Preludes, the second one called Stretty. And then nothing. The other ones were written, and somewhere within the creative process, but then things took a downturn for Grail Quest Books, and they've slowly but surely been sort of moving away from publishing, and as the folks behind it are pursuing other things. That left the Decipher license for Wars kind of in a quandary, kind of up in the air. Well, sure enough, the gentleman who just recently brought in my Greater Good and Echoes to publish it professionally, the first time for Echoes, the second time professionally for Greater Good as that combined volume, James Wilder of Arcbeetle Press, he is probably the single biggest Wars fan I have ever met, perhaps that exists, outside of the people actually at Decipher. And he was actually brought in to help work on the last stories of that novella series that hadn't yet seen the light of day, but are there. Well, he took a shot. He approached Decipher about the possibility of picking up the license for Wars. And he got it. So we can't really say a whole lot about what's coming. Suffice to say, I've been invited back to take part in a project that would allow me to write at least another short story or more, probably, for Wars. I will probably be working on the first of those little tales that I'll be working on sometime during the Thanksgiving break. So we'll see. But Wars is back, and I'm involved with it again, and it is awesome that Jim has control of that license right now, because it is a universe he just loves so dearly. And that's pretty much it, folks, for the month of October 2019. We'll be back with another project update, of course, in November of 2019. Thank you very much for your interest in both the Patreon and the YouTube channel. And yeah, I'll see you in a month. Thanks again.